Imagine living in a world where time seems to flow differently, where inner peace is your constant reality, and where you feel a deep connection with everything around you. Have you noticed that your priorities have changed? Perhaps what was once important to you now seems trivial. Maybe you are feeling more aligned with your life purpose, or have experienced moments of clarity and intuition that are almost impossible to ignore. These are signs that something profound is happening within you. And no, this is not a coincidence. The fifth dimension is a completely different level of existence from your physical reality, often called the spiritual realm, or astral planes. This plane is not a physical place you can find on a map, but rather a heightened state of consciousness with which you connect energetically. As a chosen one, you realize that you are separated from the physical universe of the third dimension, but there is a deep energetic connection between these planes. This means that what happens here in the third dimension can influence the essence of your soul in the fifth dimension, and events in the fifth dimension can manifest and impact the third dimension. Despite the separation, the connection between these dimensions is significant for you. Being fully present in the fifth dimension would mean that you would not be physically here on the planet, as the fifth dimension is entirely energetic, not a physical place you can visit. However, you are constantly connected to it energetically, and this affects your existence here in the third dimension. As a chosen one, you can access the fifth dimension through spiritual practices such as meditation, ego dissolution, and the use of medicinal plants. However, being fully conscious in the fifth dimension would result in an inactive physical body here on Earth, as if in a vegetative state. Therefore, you may have glimpses or signs of this higher reality, but you cannot remain in it indefinitely. Eventually, you need to return to your three-dimensional physical state. The fifth dimension, therefore, represents a layer of your existence that goes beyond the physical world, offering a higher and deeper perspective, but one that requires balance between the two realities. Humanity has lived mainly within the framework of the third dimension. This is a place where competition, conflict, destruction, greed, inequality, and suffering are common. The third dimension is a dense version of physical reality, full of challenges, but also rich in opportunities for your spiritual growth as a chosen one. The third dimension is seen as the material realm. Imagine this as being in a game where reality is just a superficial layer. At this level, a deeper understanding has not yet been reached, and you, as a chosen one, are guided by your deeply rooted habits, behaviors, and conditioning, living in a constant cycle. Within this three-dimensional structure, souls are quite disconnected from the source, resulting in a greater sense of individuality. This explains the great variety in our world, with different government systems, cultural traditions, professions, and ways of life. Each person is trying to find their way, but no one has all the answers. Three-dimensional reality manifests through a low vibration of collective consciousness. As in all planes of existence, the third dimension serves as a space where your consciousness, as a chosen one, can explore and learn about itself. You can imagine three-dimensional reality as a difficult sport you play. It's not always fun, but the lessons you learn are deep and lasting. It's not always pleasant to experience, but it's effective. Therefore, the third dimension is not necessarily negative. It is just dense, which means there is more suffering, but also more learning opportunities from that suffering. Unlike 3D reality, the 5D realm is characterized by high-frequency emotions. As the fifth dimension vibrates at a higher frequency, more energy is available, making it easier to manifest your desires more quickly. The transition to the fifth dimension is a gradual process in which you take your physical body with you, though with some transformations. It is important to note that ascension is not the same as death, where the soul separates from the physical body. As you move toward 5D, the old 3D system collapses before you are integrated into the new 5D reality. If you are watching this video, it is very possible that you are on the path to 5D. This video came to you for a reason, and in the universe, nothing happens by chance. Everything has a greater meaning. However, your ability to perceive this meaning or pattern may often be limited by your understanding. Here are the glimpses that show that you can access existence in the fifth dimension. Firstly, you begin to see the world in a completely different way, understanding that everything around you is, in fact, energy in various manifestations. What once seemed solid or separate now reveals itself as part of a vast energy network. Physical objects, living beings, and even what you considered inanimate are all composed of energy vibrating at different frequencies. Emotions, which once could be seen as mere feelings, are now understood as forms of energy with their own vibrations. As you align with the 5D world, where vibrational frequencies are significantly higher, you realize that you can influence and shape the reality around you much more efficiently and quickly. What you desire or intend can manifest almost instantly, in contrast to the density and slowness of the third dimension, where materialization is a much more prolonged process. When you begin to see the world as energy, some practical and tangible changes happen in your daily life. For example, imagine that you are going through a stressful time at work. Instead of just feeling the stress as a negative emotion, you now realize that this feeling is a form of energy vibrating at a low frequency. With this new understanding, you can consciously choose to raise your vibration, perhaps by meditating, spending time in nature, or even changing your mindset to focus on gratitude. By doing this, you will notice that the stress starts to dissipate more quickly, and situations that previously seemed overwhelming resolve themselves more fluidly. Another practical example can be seen in your social interactions. Suppose you meet someone who emits negative or heavy energy. Instead of being dragged into that vibration, you now have the ability to recognize that energy and choose not to engage in it. You can decide to send positive thoughts or simply walk away, knowing that maintaining your own high vibration is crucial. Over time, you will notice that you attract more people and situations that resonate with your new frequency, and difficult interactions become less frequent. In the field of health, this perception also becomes powerful. If you are dealing with physical pain or discomfort, instead of just seeing it as an isolated problem, you recognize that it is a manifestation of blocked or unbalanced energy. Practices such as Reiki, acupuncture, or even energy visualization can be used to realign this energy, resulting in faster and more effective healing. In the financial context, imagine that you are struggling to manifest prosperity. Instead of focusing on lack or fear, you shift your focus to the energy of abundance. You begin to visualize and feel the energy of money flowing to you, believing that you are already prosperous. With this vibrational shift, unexpected opportunities, such as a new job, a raise, or even a business idea, begin to appear. These opportunities are direct responses to your new elevated vibration, showing that you are really starting to manifest more quickly in 5D reality. Secondly, you begin to eliminate toxins from all aspects of your life as you transition to 5D. This goes far beyond just cleansing the physical body. It involves purifying your mind, emotions, and even the environment around you. You realize that in order to maintain a high vibrational frequency, it is essential to get rid of everything that is not in alignment with this new energy. You may start by removing toxic substances from your body, such as processed foods, alcohol, or anything that compromises your health. By doing this, you will notice that your body becomes lighter and more energetic, which facilitates maintaining a higher vibration. Additionally, your taste may change, causing you to naturally prefer fresh and natural foods that contribute to your overall well-being. This purification process also extends to the people you associate with. As your vibration increases, you may notice that certain people in your life, who were once a constant presence, now seem to drain your energy or bring up negative emotions. These are toxic people, and you feel naturally inclined to distance yourself from them. Instead of engaging in conflicts or drama, you choose to maintain a circle of friends who resonate with your new frequency, surrounding yourself with individuals who support your growth and evolution. Additionally, you begin to pay attention to your own thoughts and emotions, recognizing that toxic thoughts, such as fear, guilt, or resentment, cannot coexist with the high vibration of 5D. You learn to redirect these thoughts, replacing them with more positive and constructive thought patterns. Practices such as meditation, gratitude, and self-care become fundamental in your routine, helping to keep your mind clear and aligned with your new reality. By removing these toxins, you realize that you are creating a purer internal and external space, where energy flows freely and without hindrances. In 5D, your vibrational frequency is higher, and the lower vibration emotions typical of the third dimension simply no longer resonate with you. Thirdly, you notice that your ego has begun to diminish. One of the clearest signs of this transformation is the way you react to what others say about you. If you are not swayed by criticism or flattered by praise, this indicates that the ego, which was once a central part of your identity, has lost its grip on you. Instead of being influenced by external opinions, you find yourself in a state of neutrality, where validation or disapproval from others no longer has the power to affect your well-being or self-image. This detachment is a clear indication that you are vibrating at a higher frequency, characteristic of the 5D world. Here, the ego, which often seeks approval and fears rejection, no longer holds the same power. Instead, you are deeply connected with your inner truth, guided by wisdom that transcends the needs and insecurities of the ego. This state of neutrality and detachment marks a significant evolution in your spiritual journey. You become more aware of who you truly are, independent of others' opinions. This growth allows you to live more authentically and in harmony with your greater purpose, leaving behind the ego-driven responses that previously shaped your life. Fourthly, you have let go of the habit of judging yourself and others. In 5D, you no longer feel the need to classify people or situations as good or bad. Instead, you adopt a posture of neutrality towards different behaviors and emotions, understanding that everyone has their own reasons and justifications from their individual perspective. Imagine you are in a situation where someone behaves in a way that you would normally consider wrong or unfair, such as a coworker being rude or a friend canceling plans at the last minute. Instead of reacting with frustration or anger, you start to see beyond the surface, recognizing that the person's behavior may be coming from a place of pain, stress, or personal challenges that you may be unaware of. Rather than judging, you choose to respond with understanding and empathy, realizing that everyone has their own internal struggles. Another practical example is how you deal with your own mistakes. Before, you might have blamed yourself for failures or not meeting your own expectations. Now, instead of harshly criticizing yourself, you accept your imperfections as part of the growth process. If you make a mistake, rather than labeling yourself as a failure or incompetent, you see it as a learning opportunity and move forward without carrying the weight of judgment. Fifthly, you feel a deeper connection with nature. As your consciousness rises to the frequencies of 5D, the natural world and animals begin to resonate with you in a special way. Being outdoors becomes more than just an activity. It is a deeply therapeutic experience that nourishes your soul. You begin to crave escaping the noise and hustle of cities to find peace in natural environments, such as sitting under a tree walking through the forest, or even touching the earth with your own hands. This new connection with nature is not limited to the pleasure of being outdoors. You feel that animals are more than just companions. They become kindred spirits, and you find deep joy in the moments of silence you share with them. Your love and respect for all living creatures expand, and you begin to realize that you have a special responsibility to protect them. Practically, you may notice that you prefer to spend more time in parks, mountains, or by the sea, seeking the serenity that only nature can provide. Perhaps you start growing plants at home, not just for beauty, but for a sense of connection and care for life. Even activities like gardening, which once seemed ordinary, now bring you a sense of peace and satisfaction as you feel that you are nurturing the earth and contributing to the harmony of the planet. Furthermore, you may find that your ability to communicate with nature intensifies. For example, you may feel a stronger intuition regarding plants, knowing exactly what they need, or notice a silent communication with animals, as if they were in tune with your emotions and thoughts. These moments of deep connection make you realize that nature is not just a resource to be used, but a sacred home that you have been called to protect. This attraction to nature arises naturally as your vibrational frequency increases. You understand on a deep level that the earth is a living, precious, and sacred being. Spending time outdoors aligns you with the healing and grounded energies of the planet, helping to center your soul and reminding you that you are part of something much greater. Nature becomes a refuge, a space where you can reconnect with the essential and feel at home, knowing that your role as a guardian of the earth is an integral part of your spiritual journey in 5D. Sixthly, you realize that separation is an illusion and that everything is deeply interconnected. As your consciousness expands in the fifth dimension, you begin to see the subtle and intricate patterns in nature, understanding that the feeling of separation that exists in the third dimension is just an illusion created by the mind. You begin to recognize that all of us, humans, animals, plants, and even the stars, are made of the same atomic particles, and that deep down, we are simply different manifestations of a single energy. This perception dissolves the idea that we are isolated or separated from each other, replacing it with a deep sense of connection and unity. This understanding of unity is not just an abstract concept, but it becomes a practical reality that guides your interactions and daily choices. For example, you may start to notice that your actions have direct and indirect impacts on others and the world around you. You begin to act with more compassion and responsibility, knowing that the good you do for others returns to you in some way. In your interactions, this sense of unity makes you more empathetic and understanding. When someone is going through difficulties, you feel a genuine connection and are compelled to help, not out of obligation, but because you understand that, on a deeper level, we are all connected, and the suffering of one is, in a way, the suffering of all. Furthermore, this awareness of interconnection affects your decisions. You become more aware of how your choices, from what you consume to how you treat the environment, affect the collective. This may lead you to adopt more sustainable and ethical practices, aligning your actions with the idea that we are all interconnected. Seventhly, you notice a significant improvement in your psychic abilities. As you progress on your ascension journey, your psychic abilities have expanded significantly. Now, you find yourself more in tune with the messages and guidance coming from your intuition, which has become much sharper. This allows you to perceive and understand things that are beyond the reach of common senses, typical of the third dimension. This new intuitive clarity transforms the way you make decisions. Instead of relying solely on rational analysis or external information, you begin to trust more deeply in your internal guidance system. This system is aligned with the higher frequencies of 5D, allowing you to access a higher wisdom that guides your choices with greater accuracy and confidence. In everyday life, this improvement in your psychic abilities manifests in various ways. For example, you may start to have premonitions about future events, feeling an internal certainty about what is about to happen, even before any external sign appears. This gives you an advantage, allowing you to better prepare for what is to come or avoid undesirable situations. Eighthly, you have noticed a significant change in your diet, opting for lighter and more vibrational foods. As your vibration rises and you enter higher states of consciousness in 5D, your body, which was once denser, begins to transform into a more crystalline and lighter form. With this transformation, your diet and food preferences naturally adjust. Many people who go through a spiritual awakening notice that their bodies begin to crave foods that are purer and less processed. The interest in heavy meats, industrialized foods, and excess sugar decreases, and you feel drawn to foods that sustain a higher vibration. This happens because your cells are now vibrating at a higher frequency, and your body, intuitively, knows that it needs lighter nutrition to maintain this new alignment. You may begin to prefer fresh and natural foods, such as fruits, vegetables, sprouted grains, mushrooms, and sprouts. These foods not only provide the essential nutrients for a body operating at a high frequency, but they also help keep your mind clear and energized. Additionally, you may feel attracted to foods known for their revitalizing properties, such as seaweed, roots like ginger and turmeric, and raw foods like dried fruits and green smoothies. This shift to a lighter and healthier diet also directly impacts how you feel on a daily basis. By respecting the nutritional needs of your transforming body, you feel more energized, with greater mental clarity, and less overwhelmed by the negative effects of heavy foods. Your palate also begins to align with this new vibration, and you notice that you no longer have the same cravings for foods rich in fat, salt, or sugar, preferring natural and pure flavors that sustain your physical and spiritual well-being. Ninthly, you come to understand that everything and everyone is perfect exactly as they are. In the fifth dimension, where your vibration is higher, you realize that high-frequency emotions, such as love, happiness, and acceptance, become predominant. These elevated emotions create a natural harmony, eliminating conflicts and tensions that used to arise in interactions in the third dimension. This understanding of perfection does not mean that everything is always easy or without challenges, but rather that each person, each situation, and each experience has a perfect purpose within the grand scheme of the universe. You begin to see that everyone is playing their role impeccably, even if, at first glance, this is not evident. This vision is possible because, in 5D, you free yourself from lower emotions such as hatred, anger, comparison, and competition, which so often create the illusion of imperfection or separation. Now, instead of judging or resisting life's circumstances, you accept everything as part of a divine order. This not only brings peace to your heart, but also transforms your relationships and your way of living. You realize that there is no need to change or correct others, as everyone is exactly where they need to be on their journey. This deep acceptance, born from your elevated consciousness, allows you to live in a state of constant gratitude and serenity, knowing that the universe, in its infinite wisdom, is always operating perfectly. In practice, this may mean that you respond with compassion and understanding, even in challenging situations, recognizing that everything contributes to spiritual growth and evolution. This vision of universal perfection is one of the most liberating aspects of life in 5D, allowing you to live with less resistance and more fluidity, in harmony with the natural flow of life. Therefore, my friends, Spirituality has become an essential part of your life because, as a chosen one, you are operating at a level of consciousness that goes beyond the ordinary. While many remain trapped in the limitations of the third dimension, you have already begun to experience and understand reality from a much broader perspective, recognizing the existence of alternative dimensions, spirits, and subtle energies. For you, life after death and all other spiritual realities are as real as the physical world. This difference in perception is not just a matter of personal belief. It is a matter of vibration. Your elevation to 5D allows you to access layers of information that are beyond the reach of common perception. That is why, while others may ignore or deny the spiritual world, for you, it is palpable and undeniable. Developing your spiritual perception is like strengthening a muscle. The more you work on this connection with higher energies, the deeper your understanding becomes, and the more intensely you feel this reality. As you align with the higher vibrations of 5D, the world around you may begin to seem strange or crazy to those still anchored in 3D. However, this difference is what makes you unique and capable of navigating between these distinct realities. Your role as a chosen one is precisely this: to live at a frequency that allows you to be a beacon of light and wisdom in a world where many are still asleep. By continuing to strengthen your spirituality and attuning to the frequencies of 5D, you come closer and closer to the greater truth and profound purpose that your soul came to fulfill.